Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla's sneak peek at new cars, more confirmations of robotaxi rides in June, the latest for Optimus, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, one of Tesla's biggest upcoming products is their humanoid robot Optimus. They have been developing these units and their underlying AI systems for a while now, and it seems like it could finally be getting ready for prime time. Tesla plans on having thousands of these robots working in their factories by the end of the year, which will require, of course, some huge investments into specialized manufacturing. Tesla is now clearly taking this goal seriously, as they have just posted job listings for Tesla bot manufacturing. At the time of writing this video, they have 12 open positions out of Fremont, California, geared towards this project. They include positions like process supervisor, a series of manufacturing technicians, production managers, as well as production and quality engineers. They are accepting applications now for these positions, so they should be getting the ball rolling on production quite soon. One Tesla employee posted about it saying, "My team is turning TeslaBot into a reality. We're building TeslaBot in our Fremont factory in California, and we're looking for engineers up for the challenge of getting this product ramped up for high volume production. We don't have any timelines on when they hope to start that production, but it will have to be soon in order to meet their lofty goals. They hope to have 10,000 units working in their factories by the end of this year, and building these assembly lines will be quite the task. Although Elon Musk did say 10,000 may not happen, even though it's their goal." Tesla has a lot of manufacturing experience, so it's possible that they could do something like this, but the specialized production lines will require extra work to get done. And then, of course, the software has to be providing something great with these robots. The future of Tesla's robotics division is very exciting, and I'm definitely excited to see where all of this goes. But do you think Tesla will actually be able to hit their robotics goals for this year? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, Tesla recently shared a video detailing some of their big engineering changes that came with the new Model Y. It was very interesting to see and gave us a great look at that upcoming vehicle and what exactly changed. However, this video actually gave us a bit more than just a look at this highly anticipated car. Much of this video was filmed at their design studio in Los Angeles, and in the background of certain shots, we see a few other vehicles that are still under wraps. We don't exactly know what these cars are, but it has naturally created a lot of speculation. Tesla has a few products on their upcoming slate, so it could be any number of things. The first question would be, is this the Tesla Roadster? That's a car that is years overdue, but given the shape of this car that's covered up, at least from this view, it doesn't seem to be the answer. This appears to be similar to today's Model Y, but as you'll see, it may just be the angle. Based on the shape alone, we also know that this wouldn't be the Cybercab. The general silhouette isn't the same as that vehicle, and from this angle, the car appears to have side mirrors, which the Cybercab does not and shouldn't ever need. This cab has been shown off pretty extensively at this point as well, so it doesn't really make sense why they would keep it under wraps if that's what it was. Tesla wants people to see that, and they even have the Robo-van on display in some shots for this video. There has also been some speculation for a while now that Tesla is working on a smaller and more affordable version of the Model Y. Tesla has reiterated over and over that more affordable vehicles are coming this year in the first half of the year that utilize aspects of their current and next generation platform. So we know something is coming, but is this it? If so, that version of the car would probably strip out some of the more luxury features of a full-size Model Y, while also offering a compact form factor. This car could be very popular with budget-conscious drivers who want to drive a Tesla vehicle, but don't need everything offered by the new car. In general, Tesla's wording of what's to come would imply it shares at least some design features from vehicles like the current Model Y, but we don't truly know what form factor that affordable car will take. That said, it could very well resemble a smaller Model Y. This one covered up in black far in the background, however, could be any shape really. We definitely don't have enough detail to understand what it is. In this section of the video, there's a very clear shot of a car covered up in the background. In fact, if I were a director framing a shot, this would have been an intentional move entirely to show this off. So it's interesting that this one doesn't have side mirrors. It seems to be about the shape of maybe a Model Y, but may have a roof that slopes a little steeper. Then it doesn't seem to have side mirrors, but instead an empty slot for them within the cover. Another shot of this can be seen here, and this definitely appears to be the Roadster. So angle really has a lot to do with it. It's definitely smaller with large wheels almost going up to the door line. However, it is sitting right in front of a photo of the Cybertruck clay model. That could be related in some way, potentially hinting that the Roadster may take on some of that design, but it could also very much just be a coincidence. There's a lot that can be gleaned from these photos, but this could also be a number of things. Tesla could simply be covering up unfinished prototypes of current vehicles, or more likely, new colors and configurations. These vehicles could be unannounced future versions of this particular Model Y. We know that Tesla is working on new paint options for this car in North America, and we also haven't gotten any insight into the performance model yet. The Performance Model 3 came a few months later than the standard car and had some noticeable exterior changes. We now know, as we'll detail in a minute, that Tesla will be doing the same with the Performance Model Y, and thus they could be keeping that car under wraps until they're ready to show it off. Maybe the car in the back in black is that car. Regardless, Tesla knew what they were doing when they showed off a covered vehicle so prominently in this video. The release of this new Model Y is a very big deal, but even still, Tesla is constantly looking towards the future. What do you think about this new product though? Is it an alternative version of an existing vehicle or a new design altogether? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now speaking of that new Model Y, Jay Leno got a full look at this car. He got to drive it around, and he got to experience it with Franz and Lars, Tesla's head of design and engineering. The first thing I noticed that I haven't really seen people talk about is the difference that Tesla made to the rear head beam. There's definitely more headroom for the rear seats and for rear passengers, as we can see with Lars sitting there, because there's actually kind of a cutout for where each head would go. Previously, this was just a straight line across, and so sometimes people's heads would hit that beam. They also detailed matrix headlights, which have been shipping on Teslas for a while now, but hopefully that functionality is actually launching soon in the US, and that's what Lars confirmed in this video. As for the turn signal stock, Jay is very excited to see that returned, and likely he's used to that in every single other car that he owns and drives all the time. But Elon Musk is not. After this video was posted, he tweeted saying, "Autonomy will make the stock about as useful as an appendix." We know that that is Tesla's view when it comes to things like the turn signal stock, and that autonomy will make controls like this useless. But for now, we still need to be able to drive this car, and it's the most popular car in the world, so they listen to customer feedback, and it should lead to more sales of this car. Of course, that car has the front camera, but then one thing that Lars definitely confirmed here is that a performance version of this car and a 7-seater is coming soon. He also said that those particular trims will be available later this year. Of course, that performance trim is going to offer enhanced acceleration and handling, but then we've actually seen recent sightings of camouflaged Model Ys that suggest Tesla may be doing some different changes here to the exterior, like they did with the Model 3. This one was spotted over in China, actively testing, and this is a weird thing to see once this car has already been unveiled and is shipping all over the country completely uncovered. On top of that, another one was spotted over in Germany. There's really no reason to camouflage these cars unless they're testing new colors by chance, but that doesn't typically need actual on-road testing by Tesla, especially if it's covered. So it seems like these very well may be those performance trims, or at least they're different in some fashion that they need to cover up and is noticeable on the exterior. I personally think that this is the performance trim that we're seeing here out testing, and it makes a lot of sense, and Tesla probably wants to get that out even quicker than they did for the Model 3 Refresh Performance Edition. The other thing he confirmed is a 7-seater variant of the new Model Y coming later this year. That is still a fairly popular option for this car, even though those rear seats are very, very small. On top of that, Franz von Holzhausen confirmed that Tesla plans to have Cybercab rides going in Austin this June. This is something that Elon Musk talked about on Tesla's last earnings call, so this really is the second time we've heard Tesla directly talking about this. He said starting in June, we'll be having Cybercabs rolling around. That'll be the technology that feels like the future, but is happening today. I'm very curious to see how all of that develops, because on the one hand, Tesla is developing new driving cars that people will drive themselves, with features like stocks that people have wanted. However, according to them, very soon here, we will see entirely driverless versions of their cars, and that functionality should be possible on all of their cars, not just the Cybercab. So a lot is going to change in the near future for Tesla here. It's just a question of how long these things actually take. Will we actually see this in June? We'll see. In the meantime, though, it seems like Tesla is actively testing the performance model of the Model Y, and I'm excited to see what changes may distinguish that from the exterior. Next up today, Tesla has been offering their own private insurance in select states for a while now, as a way to drive down the rates for EVs. The program first launched in California back in 2019, where in some cases they offered rates up to 30% lower than the competition. Until recently, however, these plans were actually underwritten by a third-party insurer rather than Tesla themselves. With that said, Tesla has actually just started underwriting these policies in California. This is a big part of their ongoing mission to lower premiums across the US, and by extension, the overall cost of going electric. You can choose to switch your existing policy over to one offered by the Tesla insurance company and receive a 3% discount on your next term's premium. I'm definitely going to do this because I use Tesla insurance in California. There's also a deadline for this discount. Current customers must make the switch before March 14th to be eligible for that discount. Tesla insurance has been growing slowly but steadily across the country and soon, maybe the rest of the world. The program is currently available in 12 states, with certain regions having a different slate of incentives than others. Most states, except California, offer variable rates based on your driver safety score, and now Arizona and Texas offer discounts for customers who frequently use FSD. Based on recent filings, it seems like they could be on the verge of launching insurance in China as well. According to Tesla's head of strategic insurance partnerships, he said, quote, "Here's my goal in this role: make Tesla vehicles easy and economical to insure. By partnering with insurance companies, teams across Tesla, and collision shops in the USA and Canada, will lower the total cost of Tesla ownership and accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy." This is a really important goal, and I'm excited to see how changes like these to Tesla insurance make it more attainable. Next up today, Tesla's pricing structure is never static, as the automaker is constantly adjusting how much their vehicles cost. We're usually talking about the Model 3 and Y on this channel, but Tesla just made a big change to the Model X. Usually their goal is to bring prices down to as low as they can, but that isn't always the case. Prices have to go up occasionally, and we're seeing a pretty big example of this one on Tesla's already priciest vehicles. Previously, the Model X sold at a starting price of $79,990, which meant it was eligible for the federal EV tax credit. With that credit, it brought the starting price down to just $72,490. Since the cap on tax credit eligibility was $80,000, customers couldn't add any specific upgrades to this car, or it would push it out of eligibility. But sometimes Tesla would offer upgrades for free so it could stay below that cap. This was definitely exciting for many people, as Tesla's then largest vehicle was now a bit more affordable. With that said, Tesla just raised the price on both trims of the Model X by $5,000, knocking it out of the price range for tax credit eligibility. That means that this car now starts at $84,990 for the all-wheel drive version and $99,990 for the Plaid Performance trim. That's definitely a noticeable price increase, especially when you factor in the loss of the tax credit for many people. If you are planning on buying an eligible trim, your purchase has effectively gone up by $12,500 instead. At the same time, Tesla is slightly sweetening the deal by offering lifetime supercharging on all new purchases of this car. Depending on how much you use superchargers, this could save you quite a bit in the long run. I know plenty of people that are holding on to old Model S's and Model X's with this benefit because it's just such a great deal, especially as the years go on. So there are a few reasons why this change may have been implemented. Since adding any upgrades to the Model X would make it ineligible, maybe Tesla found that people were not actually utilizing the credit in the first place. Raising prices may have been unavoidable, so they decided to throw in free supercharging so that the impact wasn't as big. At the same time, some people are speculating that this was meant to push people towards the Cybertruck instead, which is actually scaled up a little more at this point. The all-wheel drive trim of that truck just became eligible for the federal EV tax credit, and since sales of it have slowed down recently, this change makes it an even more attractive option. This isn't the first time that Tesla has raised prices on their vehicles, but this time it has actually knocked a vehicle out of tax credit eligibility entirely in the United States. We don't know how long this tax credit will even be around right now, but in the meantime, this is a significant price change, especially for those who are eligible. We'll see how many people decide to buy Cybertrucks instead. Next up today, public charging infrastructure is one of the biggest factors which has enabled widespread EV growth. Tesla's supercharger network in particular is the largest and most reliable of these, but other networks have been growing steadily as well. With that said, major political changes in the US seem like they could put a pretty big hold on future charging station growth. For a few years now, the Federal Highway Administration has been overseeing the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, or NEVI project. This program was designed to allocate $5 billion towards the rollout of chargers across the country, and particularly in underserved areas. Funding was previously approved to last through 2025, but now the new administration is halting all of these payments. Funds which have previously been committed can't be stopped, but for the time being, no other money will be given out, even to already approved projects. The White House's memo states that funding can resume once, quote, the updated final NEVI formula program guidance is issued and new state plans are submitted and approved. We don't really have any insight into what those changes and those guidelines might entail, but given the administration's view towards EVs in general, it's probably not a priority. Certain government experts think that this order will end up being reversed since the power to fundamentally alter the program lies with Congress. Lawsuits could be coming soon as a result as well, so we'll keep an eye on this situation as it develops. In the meantime, this could mark a pretty big shift in EV policy in the US, as we could start to see charger rollouts slow down significantly, at least from brands that were relying on this type of funding. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Nissan's iconic electric vehicle, the Leaf, is getting a significant makeover. Recent spy shots have surfaced, giving us a sneak peek into what the next generation Leaf has in store. The original Leaf made its debut in 2010 as the world's first mass-market electric vehicle. The EV landscape evolved rapidly, and the Leaf began to show its age. Recognizing the need for a refresh after the Aria, Nissan is gearing up to launch a revamped version that promises enhanced style, increased range, and faster charging capabilities. In 2021, Nissan teased us with the Chill Out concept, hinting at the future design direction for their EV lineup. Dealers who have had a glimpse of the upcoming model describe it as a crossover coupe, drawing parallels to Nissan's Aria electric SUV, but one dealer even said this is the mini Aria, highlighting its sleek and modern aesthetics. Despite the camouflage on these leaked images, it's definitely clear that the new Leaf has a more aerodynamic and elevated stance, aligning it with the crossover design trend that's currently so popular in the automotive industry. In fact, almost all affordable EVs being produced come in this shape. Nissan plans to officially unveil the new Leaf later this year, positioning it as a 2026 model, and this should go head-to-head with other competing electric vehicles like the return of the Chevy Bolt EV. Over at BYD, which is Tesla's real biggest competitor, they have unveiled their new advanced driver assistance system called God's Eye that they plan to install in their entire lineup, including the $9,600 Seagull. Of this, they say, quote, BYD wants to democratize self-driving tech. BYD had previously only offered such features, which enable cars to navigate highway traffic autonomously under human driver's supervision, in models priced from $30,000. God's Eye was developed in-house by BYD and will equip the automaker's mass-market models with features commonly only found on upscale EVs, such as remote parking via smartphones and autonomous overtaking on roads. This is a very interesting situation to watch because Tesla has such a huge lead with FSD data collection in countries like the US, but overseas the situation is quite different. BYD is a huge competitor when it comes to EVs, and they truly do sell low-cost EVs there. Soon they will have some autonomous driving features that should be getting better in time. Most likely this will be taking on Tesla's FSD in that market, which is still unavailable at this point. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see how Tesla makes 536 batteries a second, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.